Welcome to the Empowerment Project. The aim of this project is to empower individuals experiencing homelessness to re-engage with meaningful occupations and enhance their social participation by building self-efficiency, daily living skills, and community connection through a structured 12-week intervention programme. I have chosen the homeless population in a 12-week intervention programme because many people who face homelessness struggle to re-engage with social participation and occupational engagement due to feelings of isolation, loss of identity, and disruptions to their meaningful routines. These challenges go beyond obtaining housing. They often face barriers that impact their autonomy, confidence, and ability to participate in everyday life. By fostering self-efficiency, building life skills, and encouraging meaningful social connections, interventions can help individuals regain control and direction. Greenwood's systematic review supports this approach, showing that people who are actively involved in setting goals, building skills, and developing supportive relationships are far more likely to sustain positive change and work towards independence. I've chosen to focus my intervention on the homeless population in Oxford and focus on those who are currently engaged in homeless services but are not sleeping rough. The sessions are designed to support people on their journey back to independence. They'll focus on helping participants build confidence, accessing local services, develop practical life skills, and take meaningful steps towards applying for jobs. This includes signposting to the correct services to maximise support. My intervention will focus on empowerment, skill building, and personal development for practical skills for reintegration into society. It will be a 12-week programme with one session per week, each lasting 1.5 hours to 3 hours depending on the activity. Each session will start with a SMART goal so that the sessions have a clear personal direction for each participant. The sessions will take place at a local homeless shelter. This is to make it more accessible and ensure we are reaching people where they already feel safe and supported. The sessions will consist of small groups of around 6 participants with 2 facilitators. This is because small groups help everyone feel heard and build connection and allow for meaningful participation. Having 2 facilitators will mean that individuals have the support that they need. To select participants, I will accept referrals from social workers and carry out initial assessments to choose participants who would benefit the most. As you can see on the slide, this will be the inclusion and exclusion criteria for this project. If you would like to pause, please do so. Once participants are selected, we'll use the Canadian Occupational Performance Measure at both the start and the end of the programme. Participants will rate how confident and satisfied they feel in each area. This gives us a really personal and meaningful way to measure their progress across the 12 weeks. By the end of the 12-week programme, each participant will have created and successfully completed one personal SMART goal related to an activity of daily living each week. This will help demonstrate consistent progress in building independence and routine. For this project, I have chosen the model of occupational wholeness because it supports a holistic, person-centered approach to enabling occupational participation and social engagement within a person's environment and social context. It also has a focus on understanding how people experience meaning through their occupations, especially those who are marginalised or experience occupational injustice. MAL focuses on 4 key dimensions: doing, being, becoming, and belonging. For people experiencing homelessness, much of their lives are often severely disrupted. Many face disconnection from their communities. The MAL suggests that regaining balance across these dimensions through purposeful activities is essential in supporting well-being. For many people experiencing homelessness, doing, which means having structure, purpose, and meaningful activities, is severely disrupted due to instability in daily life, a lack of access to resources, and the constant need to focus on basic survival needs such as food, shelter, and safety, leaving very little time for meaningful and structured activities such as maintaining sustainable employment. Being is about identifying self-worth and reflection. Many homeless people have experienced trauma, exclusion, or long-term instability, which can have disrupted their sense of self and undermined their confidence in their ability and future potential. Belonging is identifying as part of a meaningful community and making social connections. Homelessness often results in deep social isolation, leading to the breakdown of relationships due to stigma from wider society and limited opportunities to engage in community life. This will be the main challenge. And finally, becoming, which is about growth and possibility, the ability to create goals and move towards a different future. For people experiencing homelessness, it can be difficult for them to find opportunities and support due to stigma. By addressing both practical and psychosocial needs, the MAL model offers a powerful framework for supporting sustainable change in a population that is often marginalised and misunderstood. It helps ensure that this project supports not only housing and employment, but also identity, connection and hope. People experiencing homelessness often face profound occupational deprivation, meaning they are unable to engage in meaningful activities that support identity, well-being and social inclusion. Without stable housing, opportunities to participate in work, education, self-care and leisure are severely limited. This lack of occupational engagement affects their quality of life and perpetuates a cycle of exclusion, isolation and poor mental health. Interventions like mine focus on building confidence and developing life skills by re-engaging with community resources. They are essential for addressing these gaps. By creating safe, structured spaces for individuals to explore and reclaim meaningful occupations, we can support their journey towards greater independence, stability, and belonging. I've chosen to use the POJF for this project because it emphasises collaboration and addressing occupational injustice. The POJF supports client-centred, sensitive approach that promotes equality and inclusion, making it well suited for guiding interventions that aim to rebuild social connections, fostering meaningful engagement and support occupational rights. Each of the 6 branches of the POJF are relevant to my project because raising consciousness of occupational injustices highlights how homelessness limits social participation and meaningful activities due to occupational deprivation, helping educate the wider community to recognise and address these injustices. To engage collaboratively with partners, I will look at working closely with caseworkers, local organisations and participants to design a project that's person-centred. To mediate agreement on the plan, I will establish clear inclusion-exclusion criteria, SMART goals, and participant-driven activities, ensuring everyone has a shared understanding of the programme's aims and outcomes. For strategising resource funding, my plan is to keep costs low by partnering with local services and seeking donations and volunteer support, ensuring the programme is feasible and sustainable. The funding will come out of the Oxford City Council, who has already committed £1.65 million to tackling homelessness. To support implementation and continuous evaluation of the plan, I plan on using an evaluation similar to COPM at the start and end, with regular wellbeing check-ins. And finally, inspire advocacy for sustainability or closure. Homelessness can be viewed from a sustainability perspective. By supporting individuals to re-establish daily routines and occupational engagement, they are less likely to experience hospital admission due to health risks associated with unstable living conditions, such as poor nutrition, lack of hygiene facilities, and unmanaged chronic illness. This aligns with the principle of the triple bottom line, benefiting social stability by improving health and inclusion, economic stability by reducing healthcare costs and increasing workforce participation, and environmental sustainability, as stable housing supports healthier, more stable living conditions. For this project, I'm going to use a strength-based and trauma-informed approach because this links in with how to help individuals build resilience, restore a sense of control and safety by promoting empowerment, by focusing on their ability and lived experience rather than solely on their challenges. This approach is especially appropriate for people who have experienced homelessness, as many have faced significant trauma, including abuse and systematic marginalisation. A trauma-informed lens ensures that interventions avoid re-traumatisation and instead create safe, respectful and collaborative environments. Meanwhile, a strength-based approach focuses on individuals' existing strategies, their skills, goals, and helping them to rebuild their self-worth and motivation. For example, rather than focusing on what people lack in terms of employment and housing history, the intervention will focus on their problem-solving skills and help them thrive at whatever they choose to do next. I've also evaluated some of the risks and challenges that may come up during this project. One of the risks is attendance, participants not turning up for every session. We'll tackle this by building strong relationships early, keeping sessions engaging and the benefits clear so that they want to stay engaged. Another risk is complex needs such as mental health or past trauma. By collaborating with local services, we'll ensure that they are supported. Furthermore, small group sizes and the use of 2 facilitators will also help with this. Another risk is community engagement, which stems from a lack of trust. To tackle this, we will build relationships with local businesses during the intervention. And finally, the last risk is safeguarding, but we'll overcome this by training all staff and have a clear reporting procedure in place. As you can see on the screen, there are some of the legal considerations which are linked to my project. Some of the ethical considerations include being respectful and following a trauma-informed practice, and promoting emotional well-being, autonomy, and clear professional boundaries. This will inform how we conduct our interventions. They will first complete a self-reflection worksheet on personal strengths, interests, and goals in a COPM style, which evaluates performance and importance in order to set personal goals. In week 1 to 4, we will focus on building safety and trust. Participants will be invited to share stories and reflect on their strengths and practice mindfulness. In week 5 to 8, we'll shift towards daily living skills. Participants will practice budgeting, planning balanced meals, and time management in a fun and practical way. In one session, they'll practice time management by using planners to help create realistic daily routines, using evidence from Clark, who highlights the effectiveness of developing sustainable habits and routines to promote well-being. By analysing a person's use of time, you can create new strategies for structuring their day in a more meaningful manner, which is also supported by Mao's doing. This can also be done in an inclusive manner by using visual, verbal, and written instructions, depending how the person likes to learn. In week 9 to 11, we'll focus on social and vocational skills, including CV writing, mock interviews, volunteering, and community projects. This hands-on approach builds work habits, confidence, and re-engages with the community. Finally, week 12 is about celebrating process and planning next steps, with goal mapping sessions, exit interviews, and group celebration to mark the achievement and encourage sustainable change. Throughout the sessions, we'll use SMART goals and dynamic assessment to keep interventions reflective and goal-orientated. To keep participants engaged, we need to recognise the complexity of their lived experiences. Key is trust. Research shows that a lack of trust in services is a major barrier to engagement. To overcome this, strategies such as offering non-judgmental, consistent support will help create a welcoming, informal environment that participants can feel comfortable engaging in. For example, holding sessions in familiar community venues and using peer mentoring with lived experience can reduce anxiety and stigma, and recognising and celebrating diversity is also essential. This means being culturally sensitive. For example, when sharing food, it is important to be mindful of dietary restrictions based on religion, health, or personal beliefs. Sessions should be inclusive for different languages, literacy levels, and neurodiversities. Around 82% of people experiencing homelessness report mental health issues, and 39% report learning difficulties or disabilities. Visual aids or easy reading materials and multimodal activities support diverse learning. Collaborating with special organisations can also help deliver targeted support, including translation, cultural guidance, and disability access. By embedding inclusion, flexibility, and empowerment, the programme ensures that all participants, regardless of background, feel welcome, respected, and able to engage meaningfully. Finally, to evaluate the success of the programme, we use a combination of pre- and post-surveys, goal tracking, and attendance monitoring. Using the COPM style survey from week 1, I will compare the results post-intervention. The COPM is an effective tool for tracking change over time, as it has been shown to reliably assess changes in participants' behaviour, perception, and skills. In the context of homelessness, tools like COPM help to measure improvements in new life skills, mental health, and occupational engagement. Alongside these, participants will set SMART goals, a strategy proven to increase motivation goal achievement. Research has demonstrated that goal-setting interventions lead to better engagement and satisfaction, particularly when the goal aligns with participants' personal values. Additionally, attendance monitoring is key to indicator of success, with studies showing that consistent participation correlates with improved outcomes such as housing, stability, and employment. By combining these evidence-based methods, we will have a clear picture of the programme's effectiveness in empowering participants and supporting their social reintegration and occupational engagement.